Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a massive lawsuit against real estate giant Zillow. And trust me, the stakes are incredibly high, not just for the company, but maybe, just maybe, for you too. All right, so let's jump right in because the most urgent part of the story, well, it reads like a page-turning legal thriller. It's all about a race against the clock. And here it is. This is the crucial claim from the homebuyers who are suing Zillow. What they're telling the judge is that if this case gets paused, the proof they need could literally just disappear. Poof, gone. Now, we're not talking about dusty old files in a basement here. The evidence at risk is all digital. We're talking about website code that's constantly being updated, internal Slack messages, performance dashboards, things that can be easily changed, overwritten, or just plain lost. And of course, memories. They fade. So you gotta ask, right? Why all the rush? What are the bombshell allegations here that are hinging on this ephemeral, this disappearing evidence? What exactly are the plaintiffs trying to prove? To really get that, we have to look at the heart of the original lawsuit. And it all centers on one of Zillow's most important and, most profitable programs for real estate agents. The program is called Zillow Flex. And, in simple terms, Zillow is basically playing matchmaker. You go on their website looking for a home, and they connect you with an agent. It's a lead generation service, plain and simple. And this is the number that is at the absolute center of this whole controversy. Agents who use the Flex program can end up paying Zillow a success fee of up to 40% of their commission. Let that sink in. That is a massive, massive chunk of their paycheck. So here's the chain of events the plaintiffs are laying out. They're arguing that this giant fee paid to Zillow doesn't just get absorbed by the agent. No, they claim it gets baked right into the agent's commission rate, which ultimately inflates what the homebuyer pays, all without the buyer having any idea that it's happening. But things didn't stop there. Not even close. The initial complaint about hidden fees, that was just the opening act. This case was about to get a whole lot bigger. Just look at how fast this thing escalated. It starts out as a consumer protection lawsuit in September, right? By November, just 2 months later, it's a full-blown federal case with much, much more serious allegations that now involve Zillow's mortgage business. First up, they added an alleged violation of RESPA. Now, this is a federal law designed to stop stuff like kickbacks in real estate deals. The claim is that Zillow was strong-arming its Flex agents into pushing clients to use Zillow's own mortgage company, Zillow Home Loans. And then they pulled out the big guns, a RICO charge. This is a law that's usually used to go after organized crime syndicates, the mob. So the plaintiffs are basically alleging that Zillow's business practices weren't just a mistake here or there, but an ongoing criminal enterprise to systematically rip off consumers. And this quote right here, wow, it just cuts right to the heart of that RICO claim. It's all about whose side the agent is on. The plaintiffs say agents had quotas and were pressured to put Zillow's bottom line, like pushing its mortgage company, ahead of their actual legal duty to their own clients. So, you've got these incredibly serious charges on the table. We're talking illegal steering, we're talking racketeering. How on earth does Zillow respond to all this? Well, Zillow's defense is pretty much a complete and total rejection of the whole story. They say buyers aren't confused because, hey, they sign agreements that spell out who their agent is. They say if a buyer really wants the listing agent, that info's easy to find. In the end, they've called the entire lawsuit a nonsensical chain of events. So their game plan is crystal clear, right? They want to stop the plaintiffs from getting their hands on all that ephemeral digital evidence we talked about at the start, and they want the judge to throw the entire case out of court before it even really gets going. Which brings us all the way back to the most important question here. What does this high-stakes legal battle actually mean for the average person who's just trying to buy or sell a home? Look, the outcome of this case could send major shockwaves through the industry. It puts a giant microscope on transparency and asks a really tough question about an agent's allegiance. And it also makes you wonder, what's the real cost of all the convenience that these slick tech platforms give us? And that leaves us with a final, really important thought. When you're navigating a huge, complicated purchase online, like buying a home, whose job is it to make sure you're protected? Is it the tech platform, the agent, or at the end of the day, is it all on you?